Welcome to MindShifters Radio. Today is Monday, June the 8th, 2026. Welcome, Isa, and welcome, Michael. Glad you're
Thank you,
here.
dear heart. Welcome, everybody. Delighted you're here. And this is the second time you've been with us, Isa, and you're the only one with us. So maybe if you got the space, or the inclination, you'd hit your mute button, say hello, and introduce yourself. And if not, that's fine too.
Well, yes, I will unmute and say hello. My real name is Asbjorn, not Esa. It's just a nickname that I have.
Got it.
That's why I've changed my name for today.
Right.
I'm a friend of Andreas, and she mentioned this group to me, and I felt really drawn to connect with the group. So I observed you last time I joined, and I don't have any issues that I want to process myself at this point yet. So I did go through a lot of emotions and felt healing happening through just observing the session last time. So
Awesome.
When there is somebody else that has anything to talk about, that will be perfect and wonderful for me.
Great. Where are you from?
I'm from Sweden, but I live in Spain.
Oh, okay.
In Europe.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought I detected the Swedish accent.
Right.
And you're living in Spain. Well, that's awesome. Well, it's a delight to have you here. I'm glad that it's meaningful, and hopefully as we go along, more doors will open, and we've got a whole series of tools. We've been doing this radio show now. We're in our 16th year, and
Wow.
We've been doing it 5 days a week, and it's basically just been a 16-year conversation, exactly like the one you heard the other day when you were on. And as issues come up, and we present the tools, and the whole idea is just to make the tools available and support people in healing. So glad you're here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for your dedication.
Saying thank you. All right. Miss Mitzi, Sally, Susan, and we have anything exciting on your mind? Questions, thoughts, answers, ideas? Or Jeannie, do you have anything to bring forward? Any questions in the emails or from the app?
No, it's been quiet.
Okay. Well, my thought is we were going to move forward with the Power Person worksheet, and we'll just have to see if the live process is going to happen. See how things are going to move forward. And I did hear from Susan Fluick, and she said she wanted to pass on a hello, and she was carrying the energy of everyone with her. She's in Turkey right now. She's went through her list. She's visited San Lefura, Karanepe, a sister site, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this, in Gobekepte. Then been to Abraham's Cave and Pond. She said she experienced some very deep purification in the cave. And when she wrote me, which was yesterday, she was in Cappadocia. And she said the energy was powerful, and she's enjoying the history. She's got a friend with her, and they're in Ephesus. So I assume that at some point she'll probably tap in live to say hello and give us an updated report and see where that all opens and goes. So, Mitzi, how are you doing? Any thoughts for you from the other day? I think we had some good openings in the conversation. Anything exciting opening up for you? Glad to see you're here.
Hi, I'm kind of on the first, well, not kind of, I am on the first day of a retreat. So I'm north by myself, and I've dedicated this time to my own healing. And
Nice.
yeah. So I remember a long time ago, years ago, I went to this retreat center back near Lansing called the Self-Realization Meditation Healing Center. And it was the first time I went to be like a silent retreat. Silent meaning nothing, no words, no reading, no listening, no, just silent.
Right.
And the first thing I noticed was how often I talk out loud to just inanimate objects, like the snow, like the snow, or just, my voice just talking even when I'm by myself. But then after a couple of days, I think it was only 3 days, but by the second day, I started to witness my mind in a very different way than I ever had before. And it felt like a big, well, first of all, the sensation was like the hub of a wheel. And I was kind of residing, when I put my attention there, out in the hub, right? And it was like this big, open, spacious, quiet cave of some sort. And then there were all these kind of spokes that went off into a gajillion different directions. And after a period of time, it was so still that I could actually see the thought or perceive the thought coming down one of these spokes. Like I kind of see where it could come from in a way. And then there would be a thought of, and it would usually be something, untrue. Whoa, what if you don't da da da? What about this? This is the auto commentary that just shows up. But slowly the auto commentary just slowed down, and in some places just ceased. And I hope to do that again while I'm here. So I have a couple of weeks to be here. So I hope to maybe on the weekend. No, I don't hope to. I guess I could just decide to, because I'm answering only to myself right now. But I'm thinking I will do that.
Nice.
Do a fast, and then just refrain from reading, which is hard for me. I like to read, and just be in stillness. So that's what's up for me, new for me. Very opposite of anything I ever grew up with. There was always noise, TV, radio, things like that. So silence was just something that was avoided. So I'm enjoying it.
Cool. Well, it was probably about 30 years ago. What you remind me of, I went to India and I was doing a process called Kayakalpa. And during that process, I spent a time period of about 3 days where I had been doing silence, but I took it to the next level. I put blinders over my eyes and put earplugs in and didn't speak. And at some point in that process, I wasn't looking at a clock. I wasn't eating food. I had water there. So I was drinking water, and I had someone who was replenishing my water. But otherwise, I was in total darkness and total silence. And there came a point where, kind of the opposite of what you're speaking of, it was like a volcano went off in my mind. My mind just started spewing. And as you say, not necessarily wonderful things, just started spewing all this garbage. It was just like, and I have no way of knowing today how long it went on. It might have been 2 minutes. It might have been 2 hours. I don't know. But it was just like this. After I had the experience, I started to speak of it as a kind of just like a mind vomit. It was just like, phew, so much stuff moved. So hold the space for whatever needs to open in your mind to take you to that next level. That
Thank you.
it falls
And I
in
don't,
place.
I have willingness for it to be whatever it is. That was what it was for the moment. And also I did something similar to what you did the day after Journey's memorial. So 8 days after he died, I went
Right.
to the same retreat center because I was planning to go anyway. It was like the universe just provided me with 4 weeks where I didn't have any clients. I
Right.
wasn't and so so I'm like, well, I guess I'm still going, right? And so I did the same thing, just earplugs, eye mask, no food, and slept and cried and raged and dreamt and prayed, and it was all it was crazy. But I knew for me this was the truth that I had realized in the moment. And thank you, because I'd been involved with your work and other profound teachers as well by that time. But I knew that if I didn't like invite all those feelings and images, at least allow myself to feel them and offer them the breath, that it would just haunt me forever, right? So, because I was offered like, oh, you can take some Valium, and my friends are like, what are you thinking? Why would you go be by yourself at a time like this? And it was just how I did it, but it was intense also.
Yeah.
Yeah. But silence is our
Well, thank
friend.
goodness you had the courage, because if you'd taken the Valium, you'd still be pushing it down with Valium.
And I
all
knew
these
that.
years later. Yeah.
I knew that. And I'm like, well, right now I have countless people praying for me. I have the energy of all this love. Something happens, I think, when our heart breaks open like that there's just all the support around me. And I knew that that was the time to do it. And I didn't know, if I don't do it now, I'll have to do it eventually, or it will show up as disease in my body or whatever. So
Yep.
I did it. And yeah, it was intense, but I've also found like the most profound gifts in silence. So yeah, I'm honoring that by being here and turning off my phone and being away from all the jibber jabber in the world. So
Mitzi,
yes, ma'am.
this is Susan B. I wanted to ask you, will you be out in nature, walking, breathing,
Oh,
looking?
oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh yes, I'm a walking distance from Lake Michigan, the beautiful beach and shores,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
there's yeah. I spend as much time outside as I can.
Oh, that's
And
great.
you're on 100 acres there, aren't you?
Well, actually, Michael, that whole that experience shifted, and so I was going to be near home on 100 acres of Wi-Fi free land, but that experience turned around kind of on a dime, and suddenly it wasn't the right place for me to be. And my friend Susan has a home up in Charlevoix, which is in
Right.
northern Michigan, and so she saw the need that I had and extended her home. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it won't be as long as I was originally intending, but I think it'll be plenty of time to see what's next.
Well, we extend our hearts and our love in your direction, holding the space for every opening, and maybe you get one of those lucky mind vomits and dump a load that you don't have to take home with you. That's
That'd be good.
That's nice.
Yeah. We'll see. But
I'll tell you, I came back from India a different being, different. I
Oh.
recognize the change, the persona I had before I went to India compared to the persona I had when I got back, and it was like night and day. And of course, the persona today, it doesn't even resemble either of them. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you. I'll mute myself and listen, and I appreciate all of you.
All right. Returned.
Thanks.
I've texted Bridget to see if she's joining us.
And she is on. She's on.
Oh, there she is. Hey there, young lady. How are you doing?
You're muted. Bridget, you need to unmute.
Oh,
There you go.
There you
AI
are.
just took over. Something AI on my phone took over my phone, covered the page, the Zoom page, and it was weird.
Technology.
Yeah. Good thing I can I know what buttons to press.
Yeah.
Hi.
Is it
Blessings.
nice how all those wonderful people that show up in our lives know which buttons to press to give us all the opportunities we need to learn forgiveness?
Absolutely. I've got some like amazing stuff has been going on here.
Well, it doesn't surprise me after Friday's session. You really jumped in on the bandwagon,
Right?
of the next layer. And how's that looking on this side of it?
So, okay. So did I tell you my Uncle John was coming?
Yes. Remember, that
Okay.
was the subject of it, was the way your mom had presented you to Uncle John, and that was the whole issue we dealt with on Friday.
Right.
Is that kind of a
So,
fog, or?
okay, so she was working through like in herself, um, whether or not to tell him that I was here and wanting me to leave and continue lying to him in regards to me, and she couldn't, because like I was showing up with so much love and light and really present with her and celebrating her journey, and I was doing it like with no attachment whatsoever. Absolutely no. What I have to get my notes from for the correct language here. No goal. I didn't have a goal. I was I just being fully present in the moment, no matter what happened.
Right.
And oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, the lotus, like, my picture. Oh, it just unfolded and blossomed and grew, 100-fold. So the upstairs guest bedroom was my bedroom for quite some time, and then after some serious drama happened, I just moved out to the garage, and I haven't really dealt with it. Um, I've just been moving forward, so I felt it was my responsibility, and she asked me, because she's frail, to make it really nice for Uncle John, Brother John. And I said, absolutely, I would love to. So I got in there, Michael, and it's all this amazing, beautiful woodwork. It looks like the inside, the hull of a beautiful sailboat. And I Murphy'd oil soaped the entire room, like it's all wood, and just made it absolutely gorgeous, and put all this love and light into it to make it wonderful for him, regardless of the outcome of
Right.
of whether I was going to be in the picture. I just didn't care. I just had so much love for him coming, and so he came, and he didn't tell my mom. Like, they spoke, I heard them speak yesterday morning. He was out to breakfast with his high school sweetheart. He came for a reunion in Southside Chicago. And so he was still in Chicago, and he told my mom he'd call before they were leaving to come up here. And she asked him maybe take a drive down Lakeshore Drive. He could tell something was up. I know, like in his voice. Because she wasn't prepared yet, to come around 1 o'clock, and he was going to be arriving, or whatever. So I'm upstairs, and I'm almost done. Okay. And she yells up the stairs, "They're here." And I was like, oh gosh. And she shut the door. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stay up here and keep cleaning. And I heard her say, my cleaning lady's upstairs detailing the upstairs. And like my heart kind of hurt a little bit, because so there was a hidden goal, or like a hidden expectation, and
She's having a tough time facing her life.
pardon me.
Sounds like she's having a tough time facing her life.
Yes, but yet at the same time, because I'm so solid in this pillar of like just love, she's growing through this. Okay, so listen, she ends up telling John that the cleaning lady's me. And this is while his high school sweetheart, Meg, who my mom, they all went to school together, grew up together. Right. And she's in the living room. My auntie who's not really my auntie, and Meg and John, and I'm just cleaning away, So I'm like, she'll get him in the car and take him somewhere. If she doesn't want to tell him, if she wants to tell him, we'll see how this guy didn't care. That for that, there was a fleeting moment of caring, and then I just breathed through it.
Let it go.
And yep, and just kept going. So I end
How
up
are you
coming.
doing?
Well, I come downstairs, and she told him I was here, and he left. And for like the longest time, I felt her pain, I felt his pain, and I felt the pain for because she loves him so much, and she loves him more than anything or anyone in the whole world.
Breathing with you. Notice where your breath's going when you get into that.
Yeah, and so I just I felt the pain and breathed right through it, and just. She went manic for a while, and I just, instead of running away, I was present and silent, with her, breathing through, through it, and just I sent my uncle John two texts, begging him to come back, and then the second text was a forgiveness. Please forgive me for the bad things that I did in the past, and please have compassion and understanding like your father taught you to do, because my grandfather was just, John is his namesake. He's such the most amazing, compassionate man in the world.
Remember your breath.
And so then,
Soften your throat.
I worked through, so then I sent the text and I put it out there with love.
How about taking just a moment and just let yourself take a couple of breaths? Your physiology is tightening, the resistance showing up. And remember, if you try to deal with this without breath, you're dealing without the power that can change it, or intelligence. And so let your breath move as you're bringing all of this forward. I got that it's pretty heavy duty. And the transforming power, the only transforming power you're going to find for it is your breath.
Right.
So I'm just going to community here breathing with you. Is there something at this moment that would be useful to cancel?
Well, so what happened was, after I sent the text, like I felt, I was not attached. I felt really free. I still, again, had no goal. I was not feeling any wound or anything. And I know that, I just saw the truth in everything. And of course, being in God's will, not my own. And there was so much freedom in all of it. Even, holding space for my mother's pain, and
what about the space for your pain?
And holding space for healing for my uncle John and I, if that's what he chose. And if he didn't, that I was not going to own his judgment of me, because I have grown and I feel I'm a new me now. And so I really am breathing. And I got on an A meeting last night that was silent meditation, and I chose to do deep breathing, the quantum breathing through the whole thing. And then like the last 20 minutes, we shared a little, and I was silent, and it was so amazing. The 40 minutes, Michael, went by so fast. I was so connected to source, nothing in my mind. It was so incredibly beautiful. I slept like a baby, so I'm like there was nothing, I was not holding anything inside of me, where in the past I wouldn't have been able to sleep. I would have been reckless and nervous. And So he texted me today at 10:40 asking me to meet him for coffee, only me. And I didn't get the text until, that's why I joined late, because that's when I first read the text. I was doing chores and my phone was on silent. Oh, it's like so beautiful that he reached out to me.
Nice.
And gosh, how beautiful it is to be present with life and creation, you know.
It's nice work. Were you able to get with him?
No, I sent a text and I said, yes, absolutely. I left a voicemail as well. I have to go to my dentist at 1:30. I should text him back and say, I'll cancel my dentist, you know, anytime I'll meet with you. You know, I would love to, I can reschedule anything just to have this healing opportunity with my favorite uncle on the planet. Who we've been separated for so long, and I've so missed him, you know.
So breathe into that space.
And
So
he
there's a space.
reached out to me, like, how beautiful is that? Thank you, John, for being in love.
And I support you being able to really open your breath there. And when you speak about, I have no issues, I have no pain, and I'm feeling mom's pain. First of all, you can't feel somebody else's pain. If mom's pain resonates your pain, you'll feel pain, but it won't be mom's, it'll be yours. And I'd support you being able to open up to really feeling the loss that there was as you rejoice at the reconnection.
Yeah.
Because he probably has a similar pattern of pain, and it doesn't sound like he likely has the tools to deal with it. And so as you go into his space, it's probably going to be up to you to be the one who breathes and is the literal presence that is going to bring healing to this whole family system.
Yeah. Yes, and that is correct.
And notice that you look at your screen, you got a whole family of people here who are holding a space for you.
Hi, family. Hello,
Yeah.
beautiful soul family. Namaste.
Namaste.
I feel so blessed. I feel so liberated. It's like,
Go for the breath. Go for the breath into that. Remember in the ancient teachings when they said the veil of the temple must be rent in twain, they were not talking about a purple curtain in a church. The temple is this body-mind unit. The veil is the barrier between the subconscious and the unconscious. It's built by the breath and it's opened by the breath. So congratulations for opening it and being able to embrace all of that. That's huge. And it sounds like if we were standing there, we'd have been pinning medals on you through the whole process. Nice work. That's pretty awesome. And it sounds like there's still some layers to peel off here. But really acknowledging you for the space you were able to hold and the work you've done. to go from that past space of trauma and homelessness and all that you went through to stepping up to reclaiming your presence as love in the world and in your body. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. It was really awesome yesterday when at first my mom was angry when I came down, ended up coming downstairs, and I called and I said, "Can I come down?" And she said, "Yeah, coast is clear." And so I was like, "Okay, should I just hurry up and go over to my B suite?" That's what we call my space I've created for myself in the garage. And she's like, "No, he's gone." And I was like, "Why?" She said, "Because of you." And I was like, I got really sad for a moment. I was like, "I'm so sorry, Mom." And she said, "I told him you were here because you told me you were coming down." I said, "No, I didn't, Mom. I wouldn't have done that to you. I didn't say that." So she, in her mind, tried, because she is sick, and you understand the words are cumbersome right now. So I don't want to, I'm trying,
Got it.
I'm not,
Got it.
and so I just stayed present, instead of getting hurt or angry or, any of that mind pretzel bullshit. I just stayed present in breath and present with her and breathing. And
I'm going to
so,
suggest, if you can put it on hold for a second there, I'm just going to suggest that you be aware of the emphasis on the words you had of angry and hurt. And I got that you were able to override them, but with the energy, the emotional energy your voice put into those two words, I suspect, or I'd offer, leaves you with still a chunk of work to do around those two, angry and
well,
hurt.
it's really, I don't know, Michael, because I'm not feeling those emotions. Like,
Yeah.
but in the past, those were very strong emotions for me, and
Right.
not so recent past. So, they're in my DNA, they're in my memory, like they're in my
Yeah.
DNA from when I was a woman fighting with my clan, even
Right.
1,000 years ago on the Emerald Isle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so anyhow, I so I just got distracted. So I stayed very incredibly present in breath, like, and my body was resonating and tingling, like my lips were tingling, my face was tingling. It was really incredible. But here's this incredible part. Through me being present, she turned around and she said, "It wasn't you, Bridget. It was because of me. It was because of me, because I deceived him."
Nice.
Like
Wow.
so like with my healing, with me being present and my work, she's healing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the most powerful principles in the Course of Miracles. When you are healed, you are never healed alone. Literally, millions yet unborn will benefit from this piece of work that you and your mother just did. And I'm going to invite you to go back and give a listen. It's about the 33-minute mark. I'm going to invite you to go back when Jeannie gets this posted, give a listen and just listen to the energy behind your voice of those two words. And I think it's an invitation to do another level of work and not have to override it, but maybe reach down to that very deep genetic part where that kind of generational memory comes forward of fighting the clan and the next level of clearing that out of your field. So just suggest you check it out at about the 33-minute mark on the replay on YouTube tonight. And
Oh, it'll be tonight. Okay, so at the third, I'll write that down.
Yeah, it's about 33 minutes or so that into the show that you spoke those words, and I just invite you to check out the emotional energy behind them. I got that you were able to override them, but my invitation is to it's wonderful to be able to override something like that when the presence of love is the most beneficial thing you can do. And the invitation is to go back, and if there's another layer there, which I suspect there is, from the emotional energy behind those words, then you go in and you clear those out, so you don't have to carry them around for another generation.
Okay, hold on. I'm taking this note. Go listen to the 33-minute mark on MindShifters and observe
Just
my.
observe yourself when you utilize the word anger and hurt, the emotional energy in your voice tone with those two words, and just check it out and see what you find. Breathe through it and see what it resonates.
Okay, awesome. Okay, here, hold on, and
Cool.
and
And thanks for
process.
being willing.
Oh yes, like that's why I came back into this life to do this work for not only myself and all my generations before me, but the totality of all of the light beings that came in a long time ago in the beginning. We are ancient.
Joining you in it.
So yeah,
Joining you.
I don't have a choice. I don't want for there to be any other choice. Like I know what my purpose is, and it's this.
Got it. Got it, and holding the space with you.
So I'm on the journey with you, Michael and Jeannie and Soul Family here for wherever this takes us. I'm committed to you and your work 100%, Michael Ryce. Any ship you want to build, I'll be your first mate.
Okay. Cool. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
By
I'll
the way,
be working in the bunghole in the kitchen, don't you know?
food prep, that's always important. Feeding the crew, yes.
That's right.
Cool. Well, anything else to share at this moment?
Only that I have so much gratitude for each and every one of you, and I feel incredibly blessed to be a part of this beautiful group and a pillar holding light and space for this planet, for Mother Earth to heal, for all to heal with our light and energy. And I'm concerned about Matthew. Have you heard from him?
I have not gotten any reply from him.
Will you reach out again, please? Maybe he'll respond to you.
I will.
Thank you.
I'll follow up and do that again.
We were talking like several times a week, and then all of a sudden, zip. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's like in a retreat space, and I would like to I feel that could be true. Okay.
The last communication that I got from him was that he had gone into silence, but it sounded like he was ready to complete that cycle of silence. So I'll follow up and see if I can get a response from him, see how he's doing.
Okay. Please, thank you. Holding space for
Cool.
Matthew Erickson.
Yes.
I love you, my soul brother. It's so interesting when you talk. When we were teaching the other day, I heard so much of like the intonations of his voice and sentence construction. You definitely imprinted hugely upon him as his mentor, teacher, and father figure.
Well, he definitely feels like a son to me. And holding a space for the wanderings that he's done and him being able to come back to himself.
Yes.
Our exposure time was limited, but there was a definite bond that occurred.
Absolutely.
I think that that summer that he spent with me, he was only, I believe he was 9 at that point. And that was before his mom died. And I certainly join in holding the space for him.
Yes.
Does anyone have any thoughts for Bridget? Anything to add? Anything moving for you? Anything to share before we go to the next step?
We're doing a worksheet. Are we still doing a worksheet?
That's exactly. I was just checking with everybody to see if they were complete.
Let me get my work. I'm going to go get my worksheet real quick.
Okay, go for it. Anyone have a thought to share while she's doing that? We're going to step into the Power Person worksheet. And for anyone who wasn't with us when we talked about this earlier, this worksheet is about addressing and breaking down at the deepest levels the power person dynamic. And the power person dynamic being one that, when under stress, tends to move us out of truth and into playing out the behaviors of our power person. And so we're just at step 1. We had covered one of the basic bottom line objectives is to become the thinker apart from the thoughts, the feeler apart from the feelings, the actor apart from the actions, i.e. to be able to step back from your own mind and remember that what's going on in your mind isn't you. 2,000 years ago when Yeshua said, in order for you to live, you need to die, he wasn't talking about physical death. He was saying that this false self that's been built into brain cells that produces an image in our mind called our bodies that we think are true and think of being who we are, that self has to go. This worksheet is about especially dismantling the hostility and fear-based aspects of that false self. Ultimately, eradicating it and recognizing that self that shows up as a picture in our mind, that we look at that body and we say, oh, that's who I am, and all the attributes we've given it, to recognize that all of that is nothing but a construct in the mind. In Greek, it was called the persona, and the word persona means mask. Taking the mask off and getting back to the true state of being that we were created in. And it's an easy point to establish the state of being we were created in. And to establish that, all you have to do is hold a newborn child.
Yes.
We've asked the question of tens of thousands of people over the years. How many have ever held a newborn? Please describe the essence of your newborn. And the bottom line key thought that always comes out from that question leads to the word love, describing the created essence of us as human beings. And so this worksheet is about looking at every aspect of the power person dynamic and how it developed into this false self that we think we are, and looking at all of the thought disorders that go into that false self and dismantling them so that false self can fall apart and we show up in our forms. We literally incarnate as conscious, active, present love. So the worksheet was specifically designed, and it's still in development. It's specifically designed to guide one into finding the thought disorder. Remember that If we go to the opening words in the book of John, it doesn't say in the beginning was the Word and the Word became flesh. It says in the beginning was the mind energy and the mind energy became flesh. We think a thought, it literally becomes physiology. And that thought, literally, one of the powers of the human mind is to convert thoughts into pictures. And so when a gathering of errant thoughts come together from the past, resonated in this moment by a goal, then a self appears in the mind that is false. And what we're looking to do is to collapse, drop into the root of every thought disorder behind that false self until one is free of it. And so we established, I think, Bridget, that you're going to do this worksheet on mom. So you start off with step one, recognizing that's where we're heading, and acknowledging the truth about yourself is the first step in this worksheet, as with the forgiveness worksheet. And so if everybody wants to do that worksheet process, then I think everybody's probably got a copy of it.
Of what?
And or of the worksheet.
Of which? Of the Power Person worksheet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the forgiveness worksheet for a second.
No. And Jeannie, if you don't have it, Jeannie has put a link to it in the notes. You can pick it up off of our website. Yeah. But for anybody else who doesn't have it.
Okay.
Cool.
And then I'm just taking notes and doing my Power Person on all my notes and filling in.
Cool.
You know, on a different piece of paper. So this will be my master.
Well, you've got a master copy. Perfect. Okay, so step one for everybody is you put your name in there and proclaim who you are. I, Michael, who am love. And if you want to go ahead and just read into that, and we'll work along with you. Proclaim the truth about yourself. You are the subject of this worksheet. So yeah, if you want to start right out with step one, go for it.
I, Bridget Kathleen Mary Rose Brown, whom I am love. Right?
That's it. And you're designed to live as the physiological presence of breath and love.
I am love. Oh, I have that. So that brings up a memory of what how I processed through. Okay, so before Friday, on Thursday, mom got like incredibly ugly with me and was saying really, really ugly things to me. And I was in the house and I'd been, was cleaning and helping her prepare. And I just started singing out loud. I am a beautiful child of God. I am a loving light worker. Only love and light can come to me. Only love and light can come from me. And only love and light can be here now. And I was created in love, and that is all that I am.
Nice.
But I turned it into like a little song.
What a gift to give to your mom.
Yeah, and all the words were just bouncing off of my bubble that I had around me. For the first time in my life. For the first time in my life, I didn't own it and absorb the shit from my power person for the first time in my life.
Nice work.
54 years, guys.
Yeah. Celebrating with you. And I'll also celebrate that in the face of your power person playing out her unconsciousness, that you were able to reflect back to her the truth of who she was. Now, we don't have any idea how long it's going to take for that to break through, but it sounds like in the time you've been there, you've been making creating some of those openings for her to tap into that. And, my take is for her to be able to, if you'd have gone into resistance and fought her about Uncle John, you can bet it would have probably ended up battle royale, but instead you responded as a being of love. And one of the things that happens is, in the presence of love, truth becomes obvious. In the presence of hostility or fear, the lie is always obvious. But in the presence of love, truth is obvious. And Mom tapped right in and said, "Oh, you know what? It wasn't because of you, it was because of me," and owned the truth of it. That's probably pretty
That's
tough
right.
for her. That's probably pretty tough for her.
It is.
So just, accolades for holding the space for her.
And then you know what else is really amazing? So after what happened yesterday, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I know she has the tools. I don't know if she has the strength to use the tools to grow through this, because here's her healing opportunity. And so my auntie and I held hands and I prayed. I prayed out loud and set the intention for her higher self to pull through and to not own John's stuff and to have the tools to get through this. And she did, okay? And she even, and while she was drinking, which is like unheard of, like once alcohol hits in a situation like this, it turns to fire and total dysfunctional thinking and stinking thinking, and like a massive shit show, drowning in shit. And it didn't happen like that, Michael. And as she progressed through the day, typically, as the drinking got more and more, I was waiting for the explosion. It didn't happen. She stayed in love and she stayed in joy. And she said, I am not going to own his shit, Bridget. I love you. I'm proud of you. And this is our journey. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. So I just wanted to share that too. Even while she continued to drink, she was able to stay in her wise mind. So, so that was really awesome. And I know it was because I was holding space as well, So anyhow.
Well, that's the sort of thing the Course in Miracles, again, speaks about. Millions yet unborn will benefit from that. Literally, the fact that you and your mother, in the context of such trauma, even with alcohol present for her, were able to bring that energy into the earth, to ground it into the earth, means that everyone on the planet has the opportunity that's ready for that. It's like as that energy gets stronger, intensifies as a present energy on the earth, more and more minds will be able to tap into it. And we haven't talked about this for a while, so I'm going to bring this in just as a documentation of that. If you look at the world of patents, what you'll find is that there are times in history where a radical new idea comes to the earth by somebody. Somebody thinks of something new that has never been thought of, never seen before, and goes to the patent office and patents it. And there are records of several times in history, if you look at the history of it, where an idea has been patented at the same time and I don't know which countries, but in 3 different countries at once, the same day, a patent for a totally new idea has been granted by 3 different countries at a time, which, to me is a documentation. Mind energy is a literal energy that anybody that's attuned to it. So let's say in one of those cases where 3 different people patented a totally new idea, I don't know which one of them brought it in energetically first, but probably one of them did. And that strengthened it, which made it available to the second one, which strengthened it more, which made it literally energetically, because there's nothing on the planet we know of that can stop the high energy waves that leave the mind when we think thought. So in the same way, the fact that in the context of this level of trauma, you're able to bring that energy in, makes it available to literally the whole planet. And when Yeshua, the physicist, says a little leavening leavens a whole loaf, he's talking about critical mass in physics. When we can get enough people who are able to do that, then literally that energy becomes so strongly available and such an attractive force that drama just doesn't look appealing anymore to people. When that alternate light energy is literally available, when people can, when the intensity, when the amplitude of it is strong enough that everybody goes, whoa, why would I choose that when I can choose this? each person that joins in bringing it in strengthens to the point where it makes it available to everybody else. So, nice piece of work. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness.
My pleasure.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. Cool.
They're high. I was writing. Our thoughts are high energy, high frequency. Would it be wavelengths?
When a thought, in order for, by definition, energy is motion. Anything that moves creates an energy wave. If I throw a pebble in a pond, the motion of the pebble hitting the surface of the water creates waves that radiate out 360 degrees from the pebble hitting the pond. When I think a thought, the reason I can think a thought is it is an energy. And when I give attention to it and intensify it, I strengthen it. And from that motion, the same as the pebble hitting the pond, that motion creates a literal energy wave. And there's nothing in the physical universe dense enough to stop those high energy waves. If I'm in the room, like let's say I'm in the room right now and I have a light on in the room, the door's open so somebody outside the room can see the light. But if I close the door, there are literal vibratory frequencies called light moving in the room. If the door's closed, all of that light energy is absorbed by the walls, the ceiling, the floor, the furniture in the room, and people on the other side of the wall can't see the light because that energy is absorbed. But if I raise the frequency of that energy, let's say from light to a radio wave, somebody on the other side of the wall can capture the radio wave because the radio wave is not absorbed by the wall. It's a small enough frequency that it squeaks through the atomic spaces in the wall and shows up on the other side. If I put a lining of tin in the room, all of a sudden now the material substance called tin has a dense enough atomic structure that the radio frequency hits the tin, is absorbed by it, and doesn't show up on the other side of the wall. So if they're called a Faraday cage. If I insulate this room with a metal fabric, then no radio wave gets out of the room.
Is that real?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we're just talking pure science here. The energy of the radio wave is absorbed by the tin and it doesn't pass through the wall. Now, if I step up to the next level of frequency, an X-ray, and I have a tin-lined room, the X-ray goes through the tin like hot butter through knife, or a knife through hot butter, I should say. So raising the frequency, we now have a finer frequency. The spaces in the atomic structure of the tin are big enough that the tiny frequency called an X-ray just passes right through. It's like there's nothing there. To the radio wave, there's a solid block there. To the X-ray, there's nothing there. If I want to block the X-ray, you've had an X-ray done before, what do? They hand you a lead apron. If I put a lead apron on, if I line this room with lead and I have X-rays flying around in the room, they don't get out of the room because they are literally, the frequency that's emanating from it is the lead is dense enough that it's absorbed by the lead and doesn't pass through. I'm going to have to go to gamma rays to get the past the lead. So the frequency of a thought is at a level where there's nothing in the physical world we know of that can stop it. What do you want to bring in and contribute to the world?
That's right.
Well, hostility and fear-based minds usually just do hostility and fear because that's all they know. Until the alternative energy becomes bright enough, strong enough, amplified enough that they are able to see it and go, oh, there's something else I could be doing. It's just not even possible. So each mind joining in strengthening the energy of the presence of our human lives and being And weakening the frequencies of hostility and fear, which is called forgiveness, makes a contribution to the whole of the earth, to the whole species of humans, and everything that is impacted by humans.
That's right.
So, cool.
Yeah. Thank you for your service.
Absolutely honored and delighted. So step one, I, Bridget. I, Kathy. I, Asbjorn. I, Mitzi. I, Susan. I, Michael. I, Jeannie. Who am love, am designed to live as the physiological presence of breath, love, realizing that we are breath-based beings. There is no intelligence in the matter, the dust that our body is made up of. It's just inert. It can do nothing. But when it is animated by breath, when breath enters, intelligence and capacity enters. And that's why there's such a focus on breath, because we are breath-based beings. Without breath, we're simply lumps of clay that whatever's gone on in the clay in the past that's resonated into activity is going to run the show. We want to get past the lump of clay identity, the non-being self, be freed of it, so that the true human being that is breath, that is love, that is intelligence, can enter into physiology. Does that make sense for everybody? Any questions about that? Any resistance to that idea?
Makes perfect sense to me.
Good. I hope it's making sense for everybody. Ultimately, what we're looking to do is to have this make sense to every mind, heart, and being on the planet. Then we can start to live like human beings on the earth rather than that non-being game.
That's right.
So the next piece in step one, if I'm experiencing elevated levels of stress and have been tricked into believing that the perceptual constructs of my mind, my realities, are true, when in fact they're just reflections and projections of the dissociated content of my own carbon-based memory, regardless of circumstance. So recognizing the difference here between the objective of this step is to recognize the difference between reality and actuality. The reality is the output of carbon-based memory of the human mind. There's some Harvard research that says in a time frame where 10,000 brain cells from the past are firing, the max amount of data that goes into conscious awareness is 9 bit. Our reality is made of 9 bits of data. It's been estimated in the same time frame that the actuality contains perhaps 20 trillion bits of data. So the idea of this step is to recognize that if my stress is up, my reality is simply a construct of my mind. And you've shared several of those old constructs and how you've been able to dissolve them and bring in something new. That's the objective of this whole exercise we're doing.
Okay, so I just did a little play on the word reality. It's like rewind.
Yes, exactly.
And so that's like that's staying stuck in just memory and of the past. And actuality is presence in breath. Is that correct?
That's it.
Okay.
There's room for, when we're in breath and presence, there's room for actuality to write. If you think of that Harvard research that said 10,000 brain cells, 9-bit mind, it's like a screen. And
okay, hold on. It's 10,000 brain cells.
10,000 brain cells are firing. Max amount of data that goes into conscious awareness is 9 bits.
9-bit mind. Okay. Actuality is what?
Well, it's been estimated. I mean, we don't know. We don't have access.
Infinite.
But
It's
been
infinite.
estimated. Infinite would probably be a good word. That would probably fit with the idea of it being perhaps 20 trillion bits. But the objective is when you engage in forgiveness and collapse perception, the screen of awareness that carbon-based memory uses to fill us with its content of hostility and fear now becomes available to actuality. So there's a place for actuality to show up and write meanings in our mind. So that's where we want to head. And we'll continue tomorrow. Any other thoughts for you before we complete?
I love you all. Oh, how do you say it? Not I love you.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I don't believe you love me. I believe you are love. And I certainly support you functioning as that. And I cherish you in the meantime. And
I
I
cherish
commit to
you.
always honoring you, treating you lovingly, gently, and with respect.
Yes, that's my commitment.
All right. I'm with you on it. And I'll give Matthew a call. Breathe with him.
Okay.
All right.
Shoot
Take
him a
care. Lots of
text.
love.
Call
All right.
and text.
All righty. Blessings.
Okay. Blessings.
Thanks, everybody.